Hello everyone, myself CH Vinnarvina from TTWRDC Women Jengam and Department of Mathematics. In this lecture, we shall learn what do you mean by a group. Before going to the definition of a group, let us understand what is a binary operation. For that, let us consider a non-empty set, capital S. Non-empty set means it contains at least one element. And next, if star from S cross S to S is a function, star S cross S is a Cartesian product, this is the set of all ordered pairs, that is in the form of A comma B. If star from S cross S to S is a function, then star is called as binary operation, that is star of A comma B is equal to A star B belongs to S. So if A star B belongs to S, then star is called as a binary operation. Or another definition of binary operation is an operation which combines two elements of a set. If we take any two elements of a set, that two elements if we take any operation that operation combines these two elements, and that operation give an another element, that another element is also an element of same set, is called a binary operation. If we take, for example, if we take any two elements from natural number set, we already know that the number system, natural number, whole number, integers, real numbers, complex numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers. So for in that I have to take a natural number set, that is the set of all positive numbers, that is from 1 2 3 and up to so on infinity. If we take any two elements from natural number set, here here the operations are, in school level we studied algebraic operations. These are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Okay, so here already I say that I have to take a natural number set 1 2 3 and up to so on. First of all, I take one operation, that is addition. If we take any two elements from the set natural number, that is 3 comma 4, 3 and 4, these two are elements of natural number set. If we operate addition, 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. 7 is also an element of natural number. And if we take another example, 10 comma 12, 10 and 12, these two are natural numbers. If we add the two elements, 10 plus 12 is equal to 22. 22 is also a natural number. So therefore, for all A comma B belongs to N, that implies A plus B belongs to N. And if we take another operation, that is subtraction. So same as it is, we have to take any two elements from the natural number sets 3 and 4. 3 and 4, these two are natural numbers. Then 3 minus 4, that is equal to minus 1. Minus 1 is does not belongs to N. Here I write belongs to N, but it is does not belongs to N because we have only positive numbers, that is from 1 2 and 3 and up to so on. So here minus 1 is does not belongs to N. If we take that same elements 3 and 4, these two elements belongs to N, that implies 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. Here 1 is belongs to N, but before we have to check for all natural numbers. Therefore, this is the case where we get a number which is not a natural number. Therefore, we conclude that minus is not a binary operation. Let us go to another operation, multiplication. Again consider two elements from natural number set 6 and 9. These two elements belongs to natural numbers. Then 6 into 9. 6 into 9 means is equal to 54. 54 is a natural number set. You can observe product of any two natural numbers, we get another natural number. We don't get 0 and we don't get negative values. So therefore, for all A comma B belongs to N, that implies A into B, A dot B belongs to N. And next go to another operation, division. Here we have to take same two elements from natural number set. that is 12 and 13. These two are belongs to natural number set. That implies 12 by 13. 12 by 13 is equal to 0.7. 0.7 is does not belongs to n. And another example is 4 comma 12. These two are natural numbers. Then 4 by 2 is equal to 2. So this is belongs to n. So here also some elements, here also we get one element is in belongs to natural number, and 12 by 13 is equal to 0.7 is does not belongs to n, but it, so therefore division is not a binary operation. So if we consider natural number set, addition and multiplication are binary operations, and subtraction and division are not binary operation. So okay, and next in this slide we saw a last line. So that is S is closed under star. That means if the binary operation star, if capital S satisfies the binary operation, then the set is closed under the star. So then, and next in this slide already I say that if star is a binary operation on S, we say that S is closed under star. In the above example, plus is a binary operation on capital N, therefore N is closed under addition. And next, algebraic structure. Algebraic structure is, so in that we have to take same any non-empty set. So let G be a non-empty set and star be a binary operation. Then we have to then G comma star is called as algebraic structure. For example, n comma plus n comma dot z comma plus, that means n is a binary, n is a group, and n is a something, n comma plus n comma dot n comma z comma plus z comma dot. These are all algebraic structures. So and we define another example for algebraic structure, that is same if we take any non-empty set G, that set together with one or more binary operations. Here the examples are only with one binary operation, and with more than one binary operation on G is called as so algebraic structure. For example, r comma plus comma dot, here we take two binary operations. This is also a algebraic structure, and n comma plus n comma dot, these are also our algebraic structure. Next, now we shall define an important definition, group. What do you mean by a group? In this we have to take a non-empty set, capital G, let G be a non-empty set, and star be a by operation in G. Here I say that only an operation in G. If the set G satisfies the following four properties, then under the star, then G comma star is called as a group. So the properties are closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property. Closure property is A star B belongs to G for all A comma B belongs to G. This is same like a binary operation definition. So here if we take any two elements from this non-empty set A and B, then A star B is also an element of G. And next, associative property, if we take any three elements A comma B comma C from the non-empty set G, then A star of B star C is equal to A star B of star C. That means the values of A star of B star C and A star B of star C values are equal. And next, third one, identity property. So identity property, in that identity property, if we take any element from G, that means A belongs to G, then there exists some element E belongs to G such that A star E is equal to E star A is equal to A. That means if we operate an element E with the element A, then we get same element A. And next inverse property. In this also same, if we take any element a from a belongs to G, then there exists a dash belongs to G such that a star a dash is equal to a dash star a is equal to E. Here E is an identity element, a dash is an inverse element of A. So if the non-empty set capital G satisfies these four properties, then that set is called as group under the binary operation star. If we take another operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So if for example, if we take integer set z is equal to minus infinity to minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 and up to so on. That means in this set we have negative numbers and positive numbers and also 0. So first property, if we here we have to prove that z is a group under the addition or not. So first one, already I say that group definition. So group if we said that if any set is a group, if that set satisfies the four properties, that means the properties are closure property, associative property, identity property and inverse property. So for now we check z is a group or not under the addition. So first property is closure property. Closure property means, already I said that a star b belongs to G. Here in this I take binary operation as addition. So if we operate, let we take any two elements from the integer set 2 and minus 2. These two are belongs to Z. Then that implies 2 plus of minus 2. So here I take addition is the operation. So 2 plus of minus 2 is equal to 0. So here 0 is an element of Z. So therefore Z satisfies closure property. And next second one is associative property. In this associative property we take three elements a, b, c. So for that I have to take three elements from integer set minus 2, 2 and 3. So these two are integers. So now we have to operate. So associative property is a star of b star c value and a star b of star c value are equal. So for that, first of all I take minus 2, 2 and 3 elements. So now minus 2 and here the operation is addition. So minus 2 plus of 2 plus 3 is equal to minus 2 plus 3 means 5. So minus 2 plus 5 is equal to 3. And next, so here a star of b star c value is 3 and next a star b of star c value, that means minus 2 plus 2 of plus 3. So minus 2 plus 2 is 0. We already know that Bardma's rule. We have to prefer first bracket in the term of bracket. So minus 2 plus 2 value is 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. So here the values of minus 2 plus of 2 plus 3 value and minus 2 plus 2 of plus 3 value are equal. So Z satisfies associative property. And next, identity property. Identity property is if we operate an element A with some another element, then we get the same element A. So that means in this I have to take 2 that is belongs to Z. So if we get same element, that means if we get 2 as it is, then we operate 0 with that element 2. So 2 plus 0 is equal to 0 plus 2 is equal to 0. Here 0 is belongs to Z or not. So here already we know that 0 is belongs to Z. So 0 is belongs to Z means Z satisfies identity property. And next, inverse property. For 2 belongs to Z, there exists minus 2 belongs to Z such that 2 plus of minus 2 is equal to minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. Here 0 is an identity element. If we operate 2 elements, then we get identity elements. So here under addition, identity element is 0. Then 2 plus of minus 2 is equal to 0 and minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. Here minus 2 is the inverse element of 2. So here Z satisfies inverse property. So Z satisfies closure, associative, identity and inverse, these four properties. Then that set Z is called as a group under the addition. So therefore Z comma plus is a group. So here we conclude that 0 is a identity element in under addition and minus a. So here 2 is minus 2 is the additive inverse of 2. If we take 3 from Z, so if we write 3 plus of minus 3 is equal to, if we get 3 plus of minus 3 is equal to 0, so then minus 3 is the additive inverse of 3. So then finally we conclude that minus a is the additive inverse of a and 0 is the additive identity element of L set, additive element, identity element. And next we have to prove that Z comma dot is a group or not. In the before slide we have to prove that Z comma plus is a group. Now we have to prove that Z comma dot, that means Z is a group under addition, under multiplication or not. So we have to prove that the same four properties, that is first one is closure property. Closure property, if we take any two elements from the integers set minus 2 and 3, these two are belongs to Z, then minus 2 into 3, here we take the operation multiplication. So then minus 2 into 3 is equal to minus 6. Minus 6 is an element of integer set, that means that is belongs to Z. And next associative property, let me take any three elements from the integer set minus 2, 3 and 4. These three are belongs to Z. Then minus 2 dot 3 of 4, that is equal to minus 2 dot 3, that means minus 2 into 3 is equal to minus 6 into 4 is equal to minus 24. And next minus 2 of 3 dot 3 into 4 is equal to minus 2 into 3 into 4 is equal to 12. So minus 2 into 12 is equal to minus 24. So in this minus 2 into 3 of 4 is equal to 24, minus 24, and also minus 2 into 3 into 4 is equal to minus 24. Therefore minus 2 into 3 dot 4 is equal to minus 2 dot 3 dot 4. Therefore Z satisfies associative property under multiplication. And next third one is identity property. Let me take any element 3 that is belongs to Z. Then there exists 1 belongs to Z such that 3 into 1 is equal to 1 into 3 is equal to 3. Here 1 is the identity element. If we operate 3 with another element, then we get the same element 3. So therefore 3 dot 1 is equal to 3 and 1 dot 3 is equal to 3. Then 1 is called as an identity element. And next fourth one is inverse property. Here we take one element 3 that is belongs to Z. Then there exists 1 by 3. 1 by 3 is an element of Z or not. So 1 by 3 is does not belongs to Z. But inverse property is 3 a star a dash is equal to a dash star a is equal to e. That means if we operate 3 with another element, then we get an identity element. But here 1 by 3 is does not belongs to Z. So therefore 3 into 1 by 3 is equal to 1 by 3 into 3 is equal to 1. But 1 by 3 is does not belongs to Z. So Z is does not satisfies inverse property. So here already say that a group, if the set satisfies 4 properties, then that set is called as a group. But here inverse properties does not satisfied by the set Z under the multiplication. So therefore Z comma dot is not a group, because here inverse element does not exist in the set Z. So in further, already I said that in the previous slide, 0 is the additive identity element under addition, and minus a is the inverse element under addition. And under multiplication, 1 is the identity element and 1 by a is the inverse element under multiplication. So finally we conclude that 0 is the identity element under addition, 1 is the identity element under multiplication, and minus a is the additive inverse, and 1 a inverse or 1 by a power of minus 1 or 1 by a is the multiplicative inverse of a. Okay, and we have to move for the another slide, and some more examples of group. Q comma plus q means rational number set. Rational number set means p by, in that set the elements are in the form of p by q. So q comma plus r comma plus q star comma dot and r star comma dot, these sets these are all groups. Here q star and r star. So q star means q minus set 0. That means if under multiplication I said that 1 is the identity element and 1 by a is the inverse element under multiplication. But here if we take 0 from the set rational number set or real number set, the inverse element of 0 is 1 by 0. 1 by 0 means, that means infinity. So infinity is does not belong, infinity is and is does not belongs to q and r. So then we eliminate that 0 element from that set. So that set is denoted with q star and r star. So here q star is equal to q minus set 0 and r star is equal to set 0. Under multiplication q and r, these two are not groups, but if we eliminate 0 from that sets, then that sets are called as groups. That means q star comma dot and r star comma dot. And next definition is groupoid. So in the group, if we say that any set is a group that satisfies 4 properties: closure, associative, identity and inverse. In groupoid, same, if we take any non-empty set G and star be a binary operation, then that set is called as groupoid if that set satisfies closure property, or that means if it is closed under star. So if any set is satisfies closure property, then that set is called as groupoid. And examples are n comma plus n comma dot, z comma plus z comma dot, z comma minus, and etc. These are all groupoids. And next definition is semi-group. Semi-group means if we take any non-empty set G and star be a binary operation, then that set is called as semi-group if it satisfies closure and associative. That means if any set satisfies closure and associative properties, then that set is called as semi-group. So for examples are n comma plus n comma dot, z comma plus z comma dot. These are all semi-groups. So groupoid means if any set satisfies only closure property. Next, semi-group means if any set satisfies closure and associative property. And next, third one is monoid. In that we have to take any non-empty set, let G be a non-empty set and star be a binary operation, then G comma star is called as monoid if it satisfies closure, associative and identity properties. So that means if any set satisfies closure, associative and identity, these three properties, then that set is called as monoid. For example, n comma dot n comma plus n comma dot z comma plus z comma dot are monoids. But n comma plus is not a monoid because in that identity element n comma plus under addition identity element is 0, but in natural number set 0 is not exist. So therefore n comma plus is not a monoid, only n comma dot is a monoid. And next, so difference between groupoid, semi-group and monoid is, groupoid means if any set satisfies closure property only. Next, semi-group means if any set satisfies closure and associative. And next, monoid. Monoid means if any set satisfies closure, associative and identity, three properties, then that set is called as monoid. And next, abelian group. So abelian group means a group G comma star is called an abelian group if it satisfies abelian property. Abelian property is A star B is equal to B star A. If any group satisfies abelian property, then that group is called as abelian group. That means any group means, already I say that any group means it satisfies four properties: closure, associative, identity and inverse. And also if that set satisfies abelian property, then that set is called as abelian group. So another name for abelian group is commutative group. So abelian property is A star B is equal to B star A. For example, Z comma plus Q comma plus. These are the examples for abelian group. So group means only four properties: abelian, closure, associative, identity and inverse. Abelian group means closure, associative, identity and inverse, and also abelian property. If these five properties satisfied by a group, then that group is by a set, then that set is called as abelian group. And next, elementary properties of groups. So elementary properties of groups, in that we have four theorems. First theorem is cancellation law. The statement of cancellation law is, in a group capital G, the left and right cancellation laws holds. So here we have two cancellation laws, that is left and right cancellation law. That so AB is equal to AC, that implies B is equal to C for all A comma B comma C belongs to G. So LCL, that means left cancellation law, and BA is equal to CA, that implies B is equal to C for all A comma B comma C belongs to G. This is right cancellation law. So in left cancellation law we have small a on left side, and in right cancellation law we have small a on right side. So we have to prove that this theorem, given that G be a group. So already we say that G is a group, then it satisfies inverse property. So it satisfies four properties, in that we have to use only inverse property. So then it satisfies inverse property, that is for all A comma B, for all A belongs to G, there exists A inverse belongs to G. So under here we take under multiplication all these theorems are. So for all A belongs to G, there exists A inverse belongs to G, such that A into A inverse is equal to A inverse into A is equal to E. Here E is an identity element and A inverse is the inverse element of A under multiplication. So first we have to prove that left cancellation law. So in that let AB is equal to AC. Now we have to prove that B is equal to C. Already it is given in the statement AB is equal to AC, that implies B is equal to C. So let AB is equal to AC. Now we have to prove that B is equal to C. For that we have to multiply A inverse under A inverse, multiplicative inverse on both sides, left side. So on left side we have to multiply A inverse. So then we get A inverse of AB is equal to A inverse of AC. Here we have we apply associative property. So that is A of BC is equal to A of BC is equal to AB of C. So that implies A inverse of A into B is equal to A inverse of A into C. So here in A inverse into A is equal to E. We already know that inverse property. So A inverse into A is equal to E. So substitute this value. E into B is equal to E into C. So we have to, if we multiply identity element with any element, we get same element, that is identity property. So E into B is equal to E into C, that implies B is equal to C. So therefore this is the left cancellation law, that is AB is equal to AC, that implies B is equal to C. And next one is right cancellation law. in that right cancellation law, let us consider BA is equal to CA. Here we multiply A inverse on both sides, write both sides. That means here we have to multiply on right side A inverse. Then we get BA of A inverse is equal to CA of A inverse. Here we have to apply associative property. So AB of C is equal to A of BC. So here B of A into A inverse is equal to C of A into A inverse. Again here we have A into A inverse. So A into A inverse is equal to E in the previous slide. That means A into A inverse is equal to here in this A into A inverse is equal to A inverse into A is equal to E. So therefore we substitute A into A inverse is equal to E. So B of A into A inverse is equal to C of A into A inverse. That implies B into E is equal to C into E. So here E is an identity element, multiplying with identity element is, then we get the same element. So B into E is equal to B and C into E is equal to C. So therefore therefore BA is equal to CA, that implies B is equal to C. This is the right cancellation law. And next theorem is uniqueness of identity. Uniqueness means that is single identity element. So in any group we have to prove that only one identity element. So the statement of uniqueness of identity theorem is, in a group capital G there is only one identity element. So if in any group we have to prove that only one identity element is exist. So for that we have to prove that in that proof, given G is a group, now we have to prove that in group G there is only one identity element. So if we prove only one identity element means if we compare with another identity element, so for that we have to consider two identity elements in a group. So let E and E1, these two are identity elements in group G. So identity element means identity property is A into E is equal to E into A is equal to A for all A comma E belongs to G. And next E1 is also an identity element of G. Then AE1 is equal to E1A is equal to A for all A E1 is belongs to G. So AE is equal to EA is equal to A is the equation 1, and AE1 is equal to E1A is equal to A is the second equation. From these two equations, AE is equal to A and AE1 is equal to also A. So therefore AE is equal to AE1. So here in the previous theorem, left cancellation law is AB is equal to AB is equal to AC, that implies B is equal to C. Here we have to use the left cancellation law. AE is equal to AE1. Here AE is on left side. So then by left cancellation law we get E is equal to E1. So that means E and E1, these two are two different, we consider E and E1 are two different identity elements, but we get E is equal to E1, that the two identity elements are equal. So that means in any group we have only one identity element. And next, third theorem is uniqueness of inverse. So same as this, in any group we have only one inverse element of one element. So if that means inverse of 3 is 1 by 3, inverse of 2 is 1 by 2. So that means inverse of 3 is 1 by 3 is only one inverse, one element. But inverse of 3 is not two elements. So but here we have to prove that in any group there is only one inverse element. For that we have to prove that, let G is a group. Now we have to prove that in any group there is only one inverse element. For that we have to take two inverse elements of any element. So let B and C are two inverse elements of G. So B and C, these two are inverse elements of some element. So that is A. So if we take A belongs to G, there exists B belongs to G such that A into B is equal to B into A is equal to E. Here E is an identity element and B is the inverse element of A. And next, here C is also, here we consider C is also an inverse element. So for A belongs to G, there exists C belongs to G such that AC is equal to CA is equal to A. Here E is equal to identity element and C is the inverse element of A. So these from the two equations, equation 1 and 2, AB is equal to identity element and AC is also is equal to identity element. Then the two elements, that means AB is equal to AC, AB and AC are equal. So therefore from these two equations, AB is equal to AC. Same from by left cancellation law, AB is equal, then we get B is equal to C. So B equal to C means B and C, we consider B and C are two inverse elements, but finally we get B and C are same elements. And next theorem is socks and shoes property. So the statement is, for any two elements A comma B in a group G, prove that AB whole inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. So this is the statement for socks and shoes theorem. So proof. So already in the statement G is already given that in the statement G is a group. So given that G is a group and AB are two elements in group G. Now we have to prove that AB whole inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. So here AB whole inverse is the multiplicative inverse of AB. So here now we have to prove that AB whole inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. That means B inverse into A inverse is also an inverse element of AB. So for that it is enough to prove that AB into B inverse A inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse into AB is equal to identity element. Then we conclude that AB whole inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. So now consider AB into B inverse A inverse. So that is equal to, here we have to apply associative property. So A of B inverse into A inverse. So here B into B inverse is equal to E. So E into A inverse is equal to A into A inverse. That means if we multiply identity element with any element, then we get the same element. So A into E into A inverse is equal to A inverse. So A into A inverse is equal to E by inverse property. So then therefore we get AB into B inverse A inverse is equal to E. So and also consider B inverse into A inverse of AB. So same by associative property, B inverse of A inverse A into B. So A inverse into A is equal to E. That is from inverse property. So B inverse into A inverse into A means E into B. So that is equal to B inverse into B. So E into B means E. E into B means B. So B inverse into B is equal to identity element, that is from inverse property. So therefore B inverse A inverse of AB is equal to E. So finally we get AB of B inverse A inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse of AB is equal to E. So therefore B inverse A inverse by inverse property, B inverse A inverse is the inverse element of AB, and AB whole inverse is also an inverse element of AB. So therefore finally we conclude that AB whole inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. And finally the definition of subgroup. So subgroup means, let G be a group and H be a non-empty subset of G. That means H is a non-empty set and that is subset to the group G. If the set capital H is said to be subgroup, then that set is itself a group. That means H satisfies group properties, that is closure property, associative property, identity property and inverse property, and H is a subset to group G, then that set is called as subgroup. So and the binary operation is, if star is a binary operation in G, then H is also a subgroup of group G under star, under the binary operation star. That means in group G, if we take any binary operation, then H is a subgroup of group G under the same binary operation in G. For example, Q comma plus, so Q means integers, rational number set. So Q comma plus is a subgroup of R comma plus, and Z comma plus is a subgroup of Q comma plus. So Q comma plus is the subgroup of R comma plus. Real number set, rational number set under addition is a subgroup of real number set under addition. And next, integer set under addition is a subgroup of rational number set under addition. So these are the examples for subgroup. So thank you everyone. Bye, I love you.